Passionate Living, sponsored by WBBZ TV and Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Batavia, New York.
Kat Miller. Today we have a fabulous show for you with some of my favorite segments from season 1. We'll meet a man who shared his passion for classic cars with the world around him by creating one of the most astounding car museums you've ever seen. Then philanthropist and mentor Kent Amos will share his family's journey of taking in over 80 teenage children into their home in the course of several years to mentor, feed, and educate these young people. It's an inspirational story that will make you realize just how much one person can deeply impact the world. My niece Rosina and I will once again put our magic blanket out, but this time it's going to be on a Flamingo Boat as we lure in singer and songwriter Allison Pipitone, who will bring a smile to your face with one of her inspiring originals. But first, I'd like to congratulate my hometown team, the Buffalo Bills, for getting into the playoffs this season. And whether you're a Buffalo fan or from anywhere else in the world, or whether you like football or not, I'm sure you'll share in our excitement as we root for a team that is so filled with exuberance that they've taken the world of sports by storm. Here's a few fans from the neighborhood celebrating after Buffalo made its way into the playoffs for the first time in 26 years. So get comfortable and settle in for an adventure into the inspirational realms of passionate living.
Buffalo's got a spirit, talking proud. Listen up and you'll hear it, talking proud. A good life and share with nice people who care. It's time to tell them all we're up and standing tall. Buffalo's got a spirit, talking proud. Listen up and you'll hear it, talking proud.
Oh my gosh, Jim, you said don't get your hopes up too high, and then I walk into this place, I'm overwhelmed. I was emotional when I walked in and saw the incredible amount of work, of passion that you've put into this project.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about how this came about?
Well, it all goes back to being a young child living in Buffalo, and the man next door had a Pierce Arrow up on blocks that he hid away from the government because you were supposed to scrap them for aluminum value during World War II. Okay. And he had this Pierce Arrow, and we went in. I was 3.5 years old and found sliding down the fenders was great sport. And he had a fit, and to keep me quiet, because I kept saying, why can't I play on this car? He would give me a button, a pin, a photo of an old car. And I said, well, this is pretty cool. I should go to all the old guys in the neighborhood and see if I can bug them. And so it was like Halloween every day. And by the time I'm 9, the basement's full. And my mother said, what are you going to do with all this stuff? I said, I'm going to have a car museum. We had gone to the Henry Ford in Detroit. I saw that, excuse me, and said, that's what I want to do. I want to have a car museum.
Wow. So you started out as this Dennis the Menace of the neighborhood,
Dennis the Menace of the neighborhood. I know they ran when they saw me coming. But by the time I'm 18, I moved down here in Buffalo, Seneca, Michigan area, and started restoring cars, and that enabled me to collect a lot of things. So, yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some more of the museum.
Sure. Okay.
Jim, this is remarkable.
Thank you.
This was built by Frank Lloyd Wright?
It was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and he never built it for Michigan and Cherry, right down the street from us in Buffalo. Right. I still get goose pimples when I look at it because I can't believe we were able to build it. And we built a building to build it inside of, and it's going to be here for 100 years or more, we hope.
This is a filling station.
It is the Frank Lloyd Wright filling station, the first one he ever designed, and he did build one later in Cloquet, Minnesota, which is a modern design, 40 years later. But this was 1926, 27 is when he designed it.
The lights, everything, this is so...
Yeah, those are the bells where the gas would come down. use gravity feed, hide the tanks in the air. That was the that was where the gas came from.
This is,
And those light up at nighttime. It's quite spectacular.
that is remarkable. Wow. And you do events in here as well.
Many events. We've had almost 900 events in the last 23 years.
Wow.
Major events. Our capacity is 3,000 in the two parts of the
Right.
building. A lot of companies and law firms and people like that. It's so unique. Anybody can go to four walls of some hotel or something, but look at this. To celebrate. It helps us with our journey, and it helps us pay our bills. We don't get any support from anybody, state or federal.
So this has all been...
This has all been, the state did help us build the structure, this structure, not the gas station. They helped us with this. I told them, help us build the ship and we'll take care of it after that. And we have. We've shown them. And we've been self-sufficient.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
Yeah, we're very happy with that.
Now I want to have you show me the Playboy.
The Playboy car, made in Buffalo.
Fun. Made in Buffalo.
Well, the Playboy car was something, a brainstorm of the Horwitz family from Buffalo. And back in the 40s, after the war, they decided that they thought they could build a car, a two-passenger, for all these troops that are coming back from the war. And they were going to keep it under 1,000. That meant Chevy and everybody else was 1,400. The only thing they didn't take into account was that they were going to have children and they wouldn't be able to use a two-passenger car. So it only lasted a couple of years. There were about 97 made. Luckily we have one of those. We restored years ago the prototype for the Kaplan family, which is part of the Horwitz family. And we're thrilled to have this one. But the history is really cool because the Playboy magazine was named after this car.
So the actual magazine.
The magazine was named after and there's a copy of the article over my other shoulder of Hugh Hefner was going to call it Stag Magazine. His lawyer said, no, there's already a Stag Magazine. And one of his board members said, my cousin in Buffalo was making made a car called Playboy. Why don't we call it Playboy? And it's exactly how the name came about.
That's amazing. Now, Jim, tell me a little bit about this Valentine's section here and this first piece.
Well, that's the most important piece to Marianne and I. In 1970, February 1970, for Valentine's Day, I had found that in an antique shop before, and I surprised her with that Valentine card. Trust me when I'm at the wheel of the matrimonial automobile. And that's the first Valentine that I gave her, and we were married October 23rd of 70. Which will be 50 years this year. And we would then go to antique shows and pick up Valentines, hide them, and then give them to each other on Valentine's Day. Well, now we have over 400 or 500 Valentines, and this is the first time we've ever had them out. And we're so thrilled, and next year for Valentine's Day we're going to have a major Valentine's party around it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this. This is such a beautiful part.
Thanks for highlighting something that's part of our life, 50 years.
Wow. I want to thank Jim Sandoro for a private tour of the Buffalo Transportation Pierce Arrow Museum today. Jim is an amazing visionary who has used his passion to give the world around him. His unyielding spirit and that love of cars that he's had since his Dennis the Menace days as a child has made the most remarkable showplace of classic automobiles, motorcycles, and bikes that I've ever seen. Kudos to you, Jim. Thanks for inspiring the rest of us in how to follow in your footsteps of using your own personal passions to make a positive difference in the world around us. Hey, I have a very special guest today, Kent Amos. And Kent, you have one of the most fascinating life stories I've ever heard. And I still want to write your screenplay someday. That's still in my heart to do. But for today, I wanted to have you on our show and talk to you about one aspect of your life that, oh my God, I cried the first time I heard your story. I'll never forget the day that we first spoke about it. And I just want to introduce you to the show, Passionate Living today. Thank you for being with us. Welcome.
I am privileged to be here, especially when you have a title of a show around the notion of passion, because that's what I am, a very passionate person.
The day we met was such, do you want to share that story? I'll let you share it because you...
Okay, well, it was the homegoing service of my dearly beloved grandmother of sorts, Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, true legacy and a history maker in her own right, and someone who, in fact, the only woman who was involved in the original March on Washington from a leadership standpoint. And again, I hear today that Reverend Al Sharpton has called for another March on Washington. And again, so the story of Dr. Height is probably another show in and of itself in terms of my relationship with her. But again, we were both there celebrating her homegoing. Yeah. And by the way, Catherine, for your information, you may not remember where we ended up in terms of interring her, but she's not far from my parents, so I see her regularly.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. She became a real life hero to me, as she is for so many people. I fell in love with her on our first meeting, and she changed my life. Will you tell me a little bit about the chapter of your life with young people and how you used your passion to make a difference in the world?
We had just moved back to Washington, where I was from. My wife was from Philadelphia. They had always lived in idyllic kind of conditions, but now, and we still were living with one, like I said, a gated community, a 5,000 square foot home, and all the things that go with the trappings of an executive of a major corporation. But for me, my passion said that this public education is still where they go. And my wife said it's not going to work. He's going to go to private school. Well, we talked about it much as a family and ultimately realized that we were gifted, and now it's our responsibility to return those gifts. So they said, okay, we're going to try it out, put them in public schools. And Wesley came home with 3 boys from his new high school basketball summer league team, all of whom could use the resources that we had available to them. Right. And as a result of that, from 1978 to 1992, we took in 87 teenagers. And the purpose of us involving ourselves in their lives was to give to them what we had to offer to supplement what they already had. And as a result of that experience, we sent 73 kids to college. 60 have graduated. One of those 73 and one of those 60, actually, one of those called me today.
I know we have to do the abridged story. And like I say, this is a whole screenplay. But how did you start taking children into your home? And what did you do? You helped them with homework after school, right?
So we started asking questions, and we realized that all 3 of them had repeated at least 1 grade. All 3 of them didn't know where their fathers were. All 3 of them had been incarcerated. So when we went upstairs after dinner and we sent them home by way of Wesley, we looked at each other, my wife and I, and said, okay, what are we going to do about this? How do we use our capacity to change their lives like others did my life? And so we said to them, we're going to provide to you everything you need as if you were our own children, Wesley and Debbie. And what that means, house you, clothe you, feed you, educate you, do whatever it takes to see to it you have that opportunity.
When you committed this to these 3 young men, how did that manifest? You brought them to your home every day after school to help?
I picked them up every day after school, and I brought them home, and we all had dinners together, the 3 of them plus us, and my wife cooked dinner, and we had dinner as a family, and we had a rule in the house. We were going to study at least 3 hours every night together. Right. Now, so we sat and we studied and we ate. We did all the things necessary that families must do.
I mean, Ken, what you've done, what you did with those young people, I met some of them several years back. They're adults now. And every single one of the young people that showed up that evening with you shared how you had changed their lives. I mean, one
young man said you bought him his first suit and showed him how to be at a job interview, how to look somebody in the eyes and shake their hand. And basic things that they weren't getting because they didn't have fathers. Maybe their parents were working, whatever, in the community. They just didn't have that kind of support. But you gave them a home. You gave them love. They called you dad or pop. And it just, that's what makes a difference in this world. That's how this world is going to change. That's how young people are going to find hope. That's how a difference is going to be made if every person just did one thing. And you did way more than one thing. You took in 87 young people into your home and as your children. You, like I said, you started these charter schools in Washington. You have done so much work through the years to affect the lives of young people and to affect education. And I just want to ask you this question. I think deep in most people's hearts, they want to see this be a better world. They want to see young people have more opportunity. But I think most people get caught in that trap where they're like, well, what can I do? But clearly, one person can make a huge difference in this world, like you did. What would you tell a person like that if they have that mindset, well, what can one person do? Or I'm afraid to make that step, or, you know, I couldn't do that possibly. How would you get someone to
let me give an example of something that actually happened to help answer that question.
Okay.
Later on in the years, went from more boys to more girls because our daughters started getting older.
Right.
So they had girls around. So one of the mothers of one of the girls at the time, who was at the house, and she said, Mr. Amos, I really appreciate what you're doing for my daughter. And I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything. And I said to her, can you sit? And she said, yeah, I can sit. I said, come and sit. She said, what do you mean? I said, just come to the house when we are doing our study period and just sit. Now, one thing, your daughter might be a little, you know, put out because mom's sitting up in the room with her girlfriends, but just come and sit. And she did. I have to say that she changed not only her own life and her daughter's life. She went on to get a degree, has a master's. The mother did not have a degree at the time.
Wow.
So she went on to get her GED, and her daughter graduated from college the same year.
Thank you, Ken, so much for being here with us today. I love talking with you. I love your stories and the wisdom that you carry with you from this amazing life that you have lived, and this passionate path that you have forged is just so beautiful to share with others. I'm so grateful to you. I'm grateful to how you show up in this world. I'm so grateful I met you that day. No doubt, Dr. Height had something to do with with making sure we met as well. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you to you. Thank you to your staff and all, and to your audience. I wish you well and be safe.
Thank you so much.
Rosina, this is so cool. What are we going to do with our blanket this week?
Maybe put it in a boat.
Oh my God, look at flamingos. Hi. Hello. I have a quick question. I'm Kat.
I'm Val. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, Val. I have a quick question. We do this thing every week where we put out a blanket and we wait for the perfect guest to show up on our magical blanket. Could we put it in a flamingo boat and just kind of do something like that?
Sure. I mean, whatever floats your boat.
All right. Thank you. So, Rosina, I'm going to stick the blanket right here on this flamingo. What do you think?
Okay.
All right. If I fall in the water, will you save me?
Probably not.
Oh my God. Thanks a lot, Rosina. All right, let's try it.
Jesus.
See, I almost did fall. The boat was going further. It was like a bad movie or something. All right. So we'll sit in the other flamingo and we'll wait and see if someone sits on this one.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, hey.
Hello.
Is this boat taken?
No, you can have it if you'd like.
Can I sit on this one with the blanket?
Need help in?
Maybe, let me see. Oh, wow. Oh, this is pretty cool. Thank you.
Oh my God, it's Alison Pipitone. I love her so much. I am one of her biggest fans. She is just the most amazing musician. She sat across from us. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh, hi.
Holy cow. Allison, I can't believe you sat on our blanket today. This is so cool. I haven't seen you in years.
It's been years.
Wow.
Kat, Rosina, how's it going, guys?
Good. You're still doing your music. I hope you better be doing your music because I love, love, love your music.
Thank you. I'm still doing music. I'm starting to take up some boating, so I figured I would practice here at Hoyt Lake on the Swan.
Well, Allison, actually, this is a flamingo, not a swan. Just wanted to let you know if you're going to be practicing your boating, you know, not to get in the wrong animal. That's okay.
Oh, see, I said I'm just starting boating. Okay.
So, Allison, aside from like learning boating on flamingos, what are you working on?
Oh, I'm playing music still, writing music. I've been teaching. I teach at Fredonia and I teach at Buffalo Schools a little bit. So I'm keeping busy with a lot of different things.
What have you been doing during this time? Have you written any new songs?
Yep, I'm writing a lot. It's a good time for writing when you're just have a lot of time alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been writing a lot of stuff and I have a recording set up in my house.
How did you get into music?
Oh, Rosina, how old are you, Rosina?
13.
Okay, when I was about 13, I just started loving rock and roll music and blues music, and I took guitar lessons with my dad's guitar, and then eventually when I was 18 I got my own guitar, electric, got my own band, and I just sort of couldn't put it down. That's the thing, I just loved it so much. So it's just something that I guess I could say it's my passion. You have to start living your dream, and you have to sort of change what you think about as success. Like just sometimes the fact that you're doing it, that you're writing or you're creating or you're playing and you're learning, that is success. A lot of people go through their whole life and they think it's a pipe dream, I could never do it. But that's not an option. You have anything you want to do, anything you feel like you in your heart you have a love for, you have to like go in that direction, see where it takes you. But look at this beautiful day. How could anyone not be happy?
Oh my
Just
gosh.
look around.
Allison, it's so, how perfect that you would sit down today on our magic blanket.
I know. What do you think? That's so serendipitous.
Serendipitous. Great word, too.
Thank you.
You could use that in a song now today. You could go back and write a serendipitous song.
What rhymes with serendipitous, Rosina?
Oh, I have no idea.
Spina bifidus?
There it is.
Now, Allison, we do this thing where we close our eyes every week, and I want you to like maybe play one of your songs, and we'll be able to hear it. Would you have
Really?
a song
You
you
can do
could
that?
like? Yeah.
All right, I got a good one.
All right.
Want to close our eyes?
Let's close our eyes.
Okay.
Okay, great. Let's do it, Rosita.
Maybe I needed you to erase me. Wave your wand and replace me. And so I go some other where. Turn around, honey, I'm not there. I loved your love, I craved your love, I cried for your love, I died 1,000 times. So I said, God, yes, to it all. And I found me a place to fall. You can write it on my stone, how I never left you alone, how I never left you alone.
Oh Oh my God, Rosina, that was the most beautiful song. Allison's gone. It's like,
Wow.
It's like what?
Someone erased her.
Someone erased her.
Wow.
That really was magical. I wonder if she was ever really there. We're finally getting a ride on the little Flamingo.
Yeah. Oh, it's a flamingo? It looks like a swan.
Rosina, this is clearly a flamingo. I don't know what you and Allison are thinking.
How I never left you alone. How I never left you alone.
Thank you for joining us for some of the best of Passionate Living. Make sure to join us next week to enjoy some fun home videos from viewers, along with an adventure you won't want to miss, where I get to skeet shoot and even borrow an antique car at the end of the Rolls Royce gathering. And then Rosina and I will once again put out our magic blanket to attract a healer that ends up fixing my long-term neck tightness. And finally, we'll be serenaded by the talented Doug Yeomans, who will melt your heart with a love song for this time. Make sure to join us each week at these times. And if you miss a show, come to passionateliving.com, where you can watch episodes of our program online. I want to thank everyone who is part of creating Passionate Living, including our amazing sponsors, who help to make funding for Passionate Living possible. Until our next adventure in Passionate Living, remember to take at least one baby step toward a major goal in your life. If you do this each week, you'll be amazed at how each baby step eventually moves you into living your dreams. So whether it's signing up for a night class, making a simple phone call, looking up a bit of information online, or whatever it is, one small baby step will get you a little closer to where you want to be.